Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today are the two ladies from the Samuels Public Library. It's that time of month again.
It is.
We're going to be talking about all the activities in January. We have a new face today. This is Pat
LoPreto.
Yeah, I had to get there. I knew I'd mess up their name. And Michal Ashby. She's going to do the children's and she's going to do the adults. And she said, well, I've never done adults before. I said, well, they're just big kids. So she does mostly the children things at the library. So Pat, how long have you been at the library?
3 years.
3 years. Is that where you get all that gray hair from?
No, that
working
was that's children.
Oh.
And grandchildren. Yes, that's from children. All children.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So a lot of good things have been happening. You guys have been really busy over at the library. So tell us what's happening in the children's section.
We are so excited. We are at that time of year where we're going to be starting Winter Reading Club. And the theme this year is Winter Reading Wonderland. And we start January 3rd. Now, January 3rd is a special kickoff day. So what we do is at 11 o'clock, we're going to be making all sorts of balloon animals and giving them out to kids. And at 4 o'clock, we're going to be doing hand painting and have all sorts of different styles for the kids to enjoy. And so in addition to that, they can sign up. Every time they read a book, they get either a free book or a prize. And I selected the prizes this year, and we have some really fantastic ones. Although I do it every year.
Where else could you get a job and play all day? I mean, that's pretty much...
Exactly.
Why
do you think I'm always smiling?
You're letting these secrets out, of all the fun activities at the library. It's great. So that's the third. But we got a whole month.
Yes, we have a whole. Except that's one of our biggest programs.
Right,
That's the
like
whole entire month.
Next Tuesday.
I know, it's almost
It'll be
here.
before you realize it. I mean, we've just finished Christmas, and already we're just looking forward to next year. I mean, it's just like,
I know.
I always say it's Christmas every day for me. So whatever.
So you get to play too.
I'm a big kid at heart. I know.
So am I. So in addition to that, we have some wonderful teen programs. We have our discussion group, January 14th.
Do you get any teens that show up for that?
Yes, and I really have found that I know, using the phone and, social media is huge for teens, but they like to come in and just have good old-fashioned conversations. It's very free form. Sometimes they talk about bullying. Sometimes they talk about their favorite book, their favorite piece of music. They'll share a piece of art that they've done, a painting. I find it one of our most rewarding programs.
Wow.
And it's
good.
one of our longest running programs, too.
Good.
We also are going to be doing Press Play on the 21st. The kids come in and they game, and they seem to really love that.
Mario Kart
tournament, which is huge.
She knows all about them kid stuff, see?
She does. She's full-time with me, yeah. And then we have a wonderful newer teen program, because I think this is the third time that we've done it. It's called Teens Connect, and it's for the teens that find it hard to come in on Saturdays but are available in the evening. And so it's the first Thursday of the month, and so it's January 5th at 6 p.m. And they're going to have a really fun event that talks about the difference between a book's cover and what it's actually about. And so the kids will be guessing things, they'll be looking at covers, they'll be talking about what do you think the book is about, and kind of creating a game, and they'll probably find some really good books to read as well.
They say about, you've seen them in bookstores where they'll print multiple covers for the same book. They're testing to see what it is.
Which one will sell better?
I've seen them where they put a row of them, and they're progressive, or they just continue on. It's all part of the same image, but they kind of tell the story of multiple book cover. It draws attention to the book.
That is really neat.
But I tell people they spend more money on the book cover than they do on the book.
I think you're right, because if you don't have a good book cover, think about how many books do not get read because they're just not catchy enough.
And people don't spend any time, the title and the cover.
Yeah.
What do they say about you judge a book by the cover? We absolutely do.
It's true. One of my favorite ghost stories is by Mary Downing Hahn, and it's called Wait Till Helen Comes. But if you look at the book cover, it's not exciting at all. No. And when I introduced it to the kids, I said, please do not judge this book by its cover because it's an amazing story. Right. But they failed on the cover.
Well,
completely.
If anyone knows Fabio, he's our book cover guy. You remember, who Fabio is?
Wasn't he big and brawny or something?
Yeah, blonde, curly hair. I think he was on every book cover there ever was. And one of those dime store romance
I was gonna
book
say,
covers.
romance.
I wonder what happened to him.
I don't know. He's still long blonde hair, thinner.
So in addition to that, we have a wonderful craft. It's called Snowy Owl Craft. We're going to be making adorable snowy owl and really learning about these beautiful creatures. And there's something else that I wanted to highlight. Aspiring artists. Thank you, Miss Pat. We're doing a wonderful aspiring artist, and the kids are going to come in and actually make a collage self-portrait, which I think is a really interesting thing because some of what is going to go into them creating a self-portrait is how they perceive themselves. And so it's a really good conversation starter because how you may see yourself might be different than how I see you.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's a really fun program.
We did that in psychology, you know, we're doing those things and inward look and then do a picture and, you know, do stuff. Yeah.
So those are our highlights. Of course, we have our regular programs, our story times, and our science programs, and our homeschool hub. But I try not to take up the entire time and give a little time for the adults.
This calendar is completely filled except Friday.
Except Fridays.
What do we do on Fridays?
Fridays are our catch-up day. Typically, what I do on Fridays is collection development because if we have all these wonderful programs, but we don't have a stellar collection, it's a major problem. And so we really do need to spend some time on picking the best books, the best games, the best movies for the children's side.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also only open till 5, so we can't really do an after-school program.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another good
ready
point.
for the weekend, because you guys are busy on the weekends.
We are. We're nice and busy.
Because you're open. Are you open on Sundays now?
We are not.
You used to be open on Sundays.
A long while. I think it was
Yeah.
over a decade ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. But that's good. You got to have a day off, and people need to take Sunday off anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us about the children's.
Okay, so the adults are going to be doing the winter reading program as well
Right.
for January.
Well, you have adults, excuse me.
Yeah. For January and February. But the difference is instead of getting a book, reading a book each week, each time they read it, they're going to be entered into a weekly drawing for a gift card to a local bakery, Garcia and Gavino.
Well, that place is great, isn't it?
I've never been there.
Well,
We've had their cupcakes.
Oh, is those
Yes.
beautiful cupcakes?
Yes.
Okay.
too beautiful to eat. That's
And there'll be a bi-weekly drawing for a themed gift basket of goodies for each book, ebook,
they're
audiobook.
enticing you to read these books.
Yes, we want you to read the books and enter in for the drawing and, win prizes. But it's also a great way to de-stress and stuff. So.
It is. It's great.
There's going to be a winter reading writing contest, and that's new this year. For the first month, they're going to have a writing contest for all adults. The prompt is write up 2 pages about a magical wintry day in the Shenandoah Valley. It can be real or fictional or poetry. Submission forms and details are available at the adult reference desk, and they have to be turned in by Tuesday, January 31st at midnight, so you can do it in hard copy or online.
Do it online. You know, it's about reading. If you see my library downstairs and all the books I have on the shelf, I kind of go through spurt. Once I start reading, and I just keep going, and then something happens where you take a break, it's hard to get started again.
To get back.
It is.
And that's why I think these activities are good. It kind of jumpstart you back into the reading. I think it's great.
Yeah,
Well,
gives you motivation.
It does, and reading these books, and I read a lot of business books and
I remember you saying
marketing
that.
books and self-help books and things like that. But it is good. Your brain starts thinking of all sorts of stuff. I listen
But
to
now
a
you
lot
wanna
of books.
try or do.
I listen to the tapes and CDs and stuff when I'm driving. When I used to drive a lot, and I just go through those things, books on tapes, and it's great, right? My wife said, "We've done heard it 4 times." I said, "Yeah, but when you
get
hear
a new perception
every
time.
Every
I love that you said that.
Every time you read it or every time you hear it, you get off on some sort of tangent because you take that idea, and meanwhile the tape's still playing or the CD's still playing, but you're thinking about something else and trying to drive your car. So, but it's true. You get a whole other, and the same is like reading the book. When you read it again, you get a whole other, because now you know how it ends, and so you kind of start, creating your own adventure.
Well, and you know what's coming, so now you're whatever thoughts you had the first time, whatever you envisioned the
different.
first time is different.
It is. It's
because
great.
now you know, like you
I
said,
always
how it
thought,
ends.
why are you reading that book again? I know people that just read them over, and they got a library of Zane Grey westerns, and they'll just read all the way through, then start over again and read all the way through. They just
But nonfiction too, because I'm reading for a third time Essence and Alchemy, which is about perfume making, and its connection to psychology and old alchemy, all sorts of interesting things. And so every single time I reread it, I learn something else. Like there's something that I've missed, and I write notes, and I'm always shocked. I'm like, this is my third time, and I'm still learning things.
That's amazing what our smell will bring back something and trigger a memory or trigger good or bad.
Very true.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to that limbic system.
Yeah, we have that. That's one of our senses. We don't treat it with enough respect, I think.
I think you're right.
Maybe you'll have a class on that.
I have
when you read the book for the fourth time, you'll create a class.
I could create it. No, and I've done, we've done herbal classes, but I could do a perfume class.
It's just like, people are doing all these essence oils. So is that what it's called?
Yes.
And they have different smells, have different reactions to your chemistry in your body, your brain or something, So
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, well.
Sorry, back to the adults.
It's okay. The
adults We're trying to spark interest in the library here.
The adults are also doing a drawing workshop where participants are going to get a small sketchbook and they're going to learn how to draw a wintry still life scene. So supplies limited, registrations required.
Those are great. Those are fabulous.
I believe Miss Whitney is doing that.
We did years ago, we did a videotape of learning to draw. As a local artist, I think in Fairfax, so she's a really big named artist, and so my brother watched these videotapes when he was duplicating them, and he followed the steps. He learned how to draw from watching these videotapes. And so, we always say we can't draw a straight line with a ruler, but you can teach yourself to draw. I mean, it's a skill you can learn.
This will be an
it's a
in-person
skill.
class.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's nice because the in-person art classes that are offered on the adult side, every single one that I've ever been involved with, I loved.
Yeah.
They're really well done.
That's great.
Yeah, they are. They also have their Pen and Prose Creative Writing Group that meets on Wednesday, January 18th at 6 p.m. They'll have winter bird identification and feeding on Thursday, January 19th. And that one is going to be a virtual presentation.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Instead of in person.
So you can catch it on if you can't make it. You can.
Right, so you can watch it online.
Do you record these things so we can play them back at another time, or are they just all live?
I know we did with Science Scouts, so I believe
we do sometimes. It
Okay.
depends. It depends also on what our feedback is. Science Scouts still gets quite a lot of viewers where virtually, where some of our other virtual programs, we decided to stop doing them virtually and just do them physically because there weren't enough people that were actually tapping into it.
And sometimes, you need a more interaction to make these things work.
Right.
Yes.
Right, and so, I think, in this one, they're going to be finding out about different birds that live in the Shenandoah Valley that stay here over the winter time.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's amazing. We have put the bird feeder out, and and all of a sudden you'll let it sit empty for a couple of days, and you don't see anything.
And then you'll see tons
of
them.
And then you go out there and you put them in. How long? We always wait and see how long it takes for the birds. It doesn't take long at all, does it?
Not long.
No. Yeah. I feel bad though if you feed them, you almost got to continually to feed them because they rely on you to do it. And so I let it go. I don't fill it up all the time. I make sure they don't learn that skill to find their food.
They start learning. Well,
so
they'll go to other bird feeders.
That's my excuse for not filling it up.
Birds are big in our house, and when we run out of bird seed for the wild birds, my mother, who lives with us, she'll feed them parrot seed. Which is a fortune. So we try to always keep ourselves in stock of wild bird seed.
Yeah, that's great.
But January must be bird month because we're doing snowy owls. They're doing bird identification. They're also
you see
do
a lot of birds.
Photography of winter birds.
Yeah.
Nice.
And these little skills, little tips that you learn in these classes. It's just like photography. We take a lot of pictures with our phone, but there is an art to taking these pictures. And if you just learn, when I shot a lot of photographs, learn to crop your pictures and in the camera and things. And but it's amazing, we get a lot of pictures and to make our CDs and printing and things.
Yeah.
And you just look at them, you're thinking, what were they thinking? You're 12 miles away from somebody, and or sometimes you need pictures like that, or everything is in their face, so they need to learn, and that's how you learn these things in these classes. That's great.
Yeah,
just learn a few little tips that make a huge difference.
This will be a hand-on down at Easton Park.
So is Sharon Fisher involved in that? She's one of our adult volunteers, and she helps the children's department as well. Her photography classes are absolutely incredible. She has traveled around the world to take photos, and she just helped us with our Christmas photography.
She took all the holiday photos.
All the holiday photos.
Let me give you you a little tip about how to take good pictures. You just take lots of them, you know?
It says to bring cameras or cell phones with storage available and batteries charged.
That
Yes,
makes
yeah.
sense.
I would bring the backup battery or whatever that charger thing is because
Yeah.
if it's cold outside, your
sucks
phone's
the
not going to
battery.
last very
No,
long.
it does
Yeah,
suck the
very
battery
true,
out of it.
very
But
Phone doesn't last very long.
I can remember at a presidential conference, George Bush's, you hear those cameras going, drrrr, those automatic. And he looked down at the report. He said, "You think you've taken enough?"
Oh, did he really? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so
That's neat that you had that experience.
yes, yeah,
It's very cool.
It's just cool that you take lots of pictures because
Yeah.
you're just looking for that sparkle or that twinkle or whatever it is, and just how the mouth moves or the eyes catch the light. And you got to take a lot of pictures sometimes because especially when you're doing a lot of candid things.
That's a lot of patience. I think that would
is.
require a lot of
Yeah.
patience.
I can remember when we got married, we had a photographer we hired, and they said you get 12 pictures. And this is a long time. This is 50 years ago now, and it was expensive. They shot all 2 1/4 film
Yeah.
and stuff. And he literally took 12 pictures,
Oh.
and that's the plan we got. We could afford. But again, everything was staged and things like that. Now I go out and shot weddings, and I like candid things. I would take 200 or 300 pictures. When I did it. So anyway, big difference. Film
Yeah,
is
you're
cheap.
right.
That's what I always said. You don't have to get them all printed up big. You just
Right.
and now it's digital. It's even
No,
I'd probably
you just
take
keep hitting the
500.
button, and then you don't have to worry about are their eyes closed or
That's
whatnot.
right.
and-
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. So
Especially-
anyway,
I do that with
but
children.
The photography has changed a lot in the last 50 years.
Especially with
And,
the cell phones.
The
yeah.
cell phones, and
the
everybody
cell
has a camera.
Digital.
I think I've said this before, but the archaeologists in the future will look back at this generation and say they didn't take any pictures because they're all lost on their digital thing. We can't find any artifacts of pictures what it was like in.
And the
2000.
letters. I think that
Yeah.
one of the biggest things is there's not going to be a lot of letters.
Right. Well, when I was stationed overseas, and
Yeah.
Right. You wrote letters back, but
Oh,
now
every
everything's
day,
on
yeah,
email
sometimes
or
2 or 3. You
text.
just write a lot of letters. Yeah.
And it's how you get to know your ancestors because
Yep.
you have letters.
When you
But-
go back to
yeah.
that thing and you do classes on what's
Genealogy,
it called?
yeah.
Genealogy, and those are always interesting. And we've looked those things up.
Yeah.
And there's my great grandfather getting off the boat at Ellis Island.
Yeah, I know it's really neat.
But I know you have classes like that too.
We
so-
do. We
Nothing
do we
this
have
month.
anything this month for the adult side on genealogy? I don't.
She
would
it
have.
doesn't say genealogy
So-
on here. It does say book club.
So she'll probably do that the month afterwards.
like
but
a
I
book
know
club.
they're very well received.
Yeah,
and people
people love that
them.
stuff.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And now with the computers the way they are, there's just so much information. And,
That they can
and
look
the
it up.
government states are really been putting a lot of their information
Yes.
online, and I'd be surprised at what we have online, even in Warren County. The GSI or whatever it's called there at the county's got one. You can look up your property and see an aerial view and a map and
Well,
survey. It's all sorts of cool stuff online.
It's neat though because you can resonate with those stories. Like sometimes you'll find a story about your ancestor and you think to yourself, my goodness, I probably would have just adored hanging out with this
Sure.
person. We have so much in common.
Yeah.
And so it's just really, or you see something very difficult that they went through and you say to yourself, I don't think I'm going to be upset that my feet are cold.
That's right.
Considering
they did.
this ancestor went through this.
My wife's grandparents were born in around 1890.
Okay.
And they passed away in the 80s. But here they went through, ringing the chickens and the whole thing, you're cooking your own food.
Yeah.
But they went through aviation, 2 world wars, a couple wars, but they
Depression.
they jumped on
Yeah.
at 80 years old. They jumped on an airplane and flew all over the country like it was nothing. And I always think, here's a person
But you
that's
were there
grown
when
up.
it was invented.
Yes, yeah, an automobile. But they went through all those stages. And I was watching an old Turner Classic movie over the weekend, and I'm thinking, here, aviation, basically around 1908, 1910, it really started. And here in 1940, when the war started, we had all these kind of planes that's just 30 years.
Yeah.
We think about how much change that was.
Yeah.
And we look at our generation today, and it's like to say a lot of these classes, phones. I can remember having, when we had
30 years
portable
ago, they
phones
didn't
that
do
weighed,
what they do now.
12 pounds. It was this big and had to carry a bag, and a battery was this big to use your phone. Oh, yeah, it's
And exciting, though, the changes, because who
Yes.
knows what we'll see in 20 years.
I know,
You
it's-
know? You never know.
They talk about that chip in your head, you know. Okay, Google, turn it on.
Chip in
I don't
my
know.
head.
I don't know.
I don't have a chip
You don't
in the
read the
head.
same stories I do.
I was going to say, we microchip the animals. People are next.
Anyway, tons of stuff goes on to the library. I know we
Yes.
didn't cover it all, but we're trying to give you some excitement. We'll put links to it at least 2 or 3 times a month. We update these links and post stories about what's happening to children. I just posted it yesterday.
Thank you.
And what the children and the adult things get posted a couple times a month. The permanent link to all the activities, because you keep these current. So it's the same link. You can just bookmark it and check on it, and something bound to come up that you would be interested in, because it's just
There's a wide
it's so
variety.
much. I keep saying I'm going to these things, and it's been a long time since I've been in the library. I'm afraid that when I get there, I want to get my platinum card. You know.
Yes, yeah.
She tells me.
Michelle told you to get
she
one.
Says she's hanging. She said I'm saving you one.
I bet she will save you one. If she says she'll save it, she'll
I
save it
believe-
for you.
But I think what happens is she's going to get me to do something and voluntold me to.
Is that why you're afraid to come in?
She's very good at that. She's like Megan at the Humane Society. Please don't go out there, because she will hoodwink you into doing something. But there's all sorts of cool things. Like how does she talk all them people to jump into the river or the pond up at the 4-H center here?
Who
next
talks them to do that?
Megan Bowers at the Humane Society.
That's incredible.
That's a polar
For the polar
plunge.
jump.
Yeah, now they're going to do that in January this year. Last time we went up, they had to break the ice. Remember that?
I was
Mark?
going
They
to
had
say,
break
right
the-
now they'd have to break the ice.
But, you
no
know, people
offense,
show up.
I would not do that. I'm sorry to say
That's
that.
one of the few things you won't.
I know. I'll do them. I've eaten bugs for programs. I've done everything, but I hate the cold. So I am afraid of the cold.
I think I would do that before the bugs.
Yeah. I told my daughter the other day about the bug program, and she was horrified. She said, "You didn't really do that." I said, "Yes, I most certainly did."
They eat those scorpions.
I know, and that's what she did. And I'm, nope.
When you go to the in Vietnam, you'd go down into the Philippines and the islands, and you would do your jungle survival training. Send you a week out into the jungle and stuff. But you got to survive. You get your pocket knife or whatever, and your compass, and that's it.
I bet they teach you though.
They teach
what
you
they,
the bugs
you can
to eat.
eat.
What's
Yeah.
plant. I know, guys. I ain't nothing. I'll just they end up
I'll
eating
be a lot
something.
thinner then.
Yeah, you'd be a lot thinner.
I'd eat what I had
You
to.
could say 4 more days, But you learn a lot of those things. And you learn these things in these classes. And
Yes,
that's
you
what's
do.
cool.
We have
And if
lots
you
of
just-
fun things.
It's fun things.
Yep.
When it's fun, you learn easier, I think. And I know you put a lot of effort into it and just coming up with these things. So
Thank you.
We appreciate all the work that the library does. And hopefully you'll be able to get back to the real work in the children's section. And
I just had to do this today.
Yeah,
I'll be in the kids
she's
section
right
today.
back in the children's section all day.
Right after this.
Yeah.
it's great. It's great. Like I said, it's just amazing all the stuff you'll find at your library. So head on down there.
Thank you.
It's open every day but Sunday, right?
Yes.
And,
Not
and
this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday we're closed.
Thank
Well,
you.
anything for a holiday. I said you did that for Christmas too. But
Actually, for Christmas, it was 5 days with all that weather we had last week.
that wasn't even weather. What about people that
I know.
The library is open in Buffalo when they had 2 feet of snow. I mean,
And being New Yorkers, we understand
You're not from
that.
New York. I
Yeah.
was wondering. I thought you were from Georgia with that accent.
That's a first.
We're actually from the same part
That's
of New
a first.
York.
No, I'm from New York.
You're smart enough to
She's
get
from
out of
New
there.
York. Yes, I agree with that. But I have to say, I'm very grateful. I was on vacation last week, but I heard you all were closed for 2 days. I'm very grateful that they take weather seriously. Keeping the staff safe and
Sure.
whatnot. And
That's
so
kinda like the
we don't
airlines here.
close often, but when we do, she's trying.
I was
She's trying to
reading
keep
on
us
the, I
safe.
was reading on the news this morning about the Southwest is just getting beat up because they're canceled all these flights. Well, they don't run the airport. They said the government said it was unacceptable. Well, duh. When, do you want them to fly and crash the airplane?
Exactly, and see that's what
Yeah,
I
who
love
wants
about.
to get on there and go
But I
on the
like the
ice?
best
Yeah.
comment. It said the airline makes no money when the planes are sitting on the ground. And so think about that.
But what about people's lives?
They want those planes to fly
Yeah.
as much as you do, but when they don't, there's a very good reason why.
Exactly.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I've been delayed a lot, and I don't have a problem with being delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Better
appreciate it.
safe.
I don't know how we got off on that subject, but we're talking about the library. So let's we're having too much fun. So let's cut this off.
We always have fun, and thank you.
We'll cut this
Thank you
off,
so
and we'll
much
see you in
for
a couple weeks.
But I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to
Oh,
come
you're
because
welcome. And
you do
again,
so much for us.
If
the
you have an
community.
organization that's helping and doing good things in Front Royal, Warren County, give us a call, give us a ring, send it to news@royalexaminer.com. Tell us about it. We'll bring you in here and have fun with you too.
Yeah,
All right?
he's
All right.
fantastic to
All
work
right.
with.
Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.